Welcome to the Journey to a Million podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Walker. This podcast is about my personal journey from being $25,000 in debt to getting to $1 million of net worth by the age of 43. Follow along with my journey, implement the ideas, and let's do it together. Thanks so much for joining me. Let's get started. What's up out there, guys, and welcome to the Journey to a Million podcast. Today is Thursday, December 9th, and last time I didn't really get into the whole investing versus sports betting challenge. So because there's a game tonight that involves some of the picks that I want to make for this week, I just want to go ahead and knock it out for this week. So last week, just looking at our crypto, we were at 1635 last week. And then this week, crypto is still on that pullback. It still hurts a little bit, but hopefully we get a rebound here off the 47,000 on the Bitcoin. I think in the next 2 days, we're at a decision point where it's either going to break out or break down because that descending wedge pattern is happening. And I like that. I think that once it gets that edge, it'll bounce. But that's just my opinion. And I think that we'll see that Friday or Saturday. So we'll see how that goes. Hope you like the new viewing angle, trying something a little bit different out. So just looking at crypto this week, we still have our 70 Cardano, but Cardano's down from 172 last week to 131 this week. That is rough. So that's $262. We also have one Solana at 183.86. That's down significantly as well. 200 Mana at 352, that's 704. And then we have 260 XRP at 226.20, and then 5,000 Stormex at 0.027. So that's 135. Add that all together, and we're at 1,511.03. So we're down from 1635 to 1511. I feel like we haven't been doing that well in the crypto portfolio, especially lately. We just have been doing well with Mana, but I feel like if we're not even doing that well and we're still up 50%, that's the only encouraging part is that we do think crypto will rebound. And, I think we have a long way to go. And once we start back in this new bull run, if that happens, hopefully, I think we can enjoy some gains as we head into the playoff time. I really think this is going to work out where hopefully where we're seeing our big gains toward the time when we have NFL playoffs. And so, that way we're still doing the whole football season thing and we can track our gains. So last week's games, we took Georgia and Bama over 49.5. We were down 45 going into the week. That was a big win, $50 won on that. Remember, as of course, for legal purposes, this is all imaginary money. This is just an exercise. Got to say that every time. And then we also Bama, I didn't expect them to win that big, but they definitely played perfectly for the over that we needed. So nice job by Bama getting the win. And I think the college football playoff looks really good right now with Cincinnati, playing Bama. I love that. And then you got Georgia, Michigan. So I'm predicting an SEC championship, this year. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So then we took the Cardinals from -7.5 down to half a point. That was an easy win over the Bears. And then the one that really got us was the Lions -7 to a pick. I knew the smart play was to take the Lions plus the points, but I was like, the Vikings have to win. Like no one's lost the Lions all year, but I knew if there was a team that could do it, it would be the Vikings. Unfortunately, it was this week, and they played soft coverage on the last play. Letting Jared Goff throw like if anything, make him beat you over the top on like a nice drop in throw. Don't let him give you that, stop route where it's like, I just don't get the Vikings play calling. Like I think the Vikings, if they had a better coach, this is just my opinion, could be way better. Like they have such a good team and so much talent on that team. But I feel like they're kind of like a Mike McCarthy type team where it's like they're only going to be average, I know Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl. That was basically Aaron Rodgers, I think more so than him. And I think now you can see Matt LaFleur taking over the same team that Mike McCarthy had, got them to deep into the playoffs, both years or whatever. So, or they're looking good again. I can't remember how many years it's been there, but they're basically actually showing who they are now. I think the Vikings have the pieces to be a very good team, but they just like lose so many close games. It's just like Anthony Lynn with the Chargers, you know. So I think there's some coaches that are like the old school, but they're not like just innovative. And I think you see that when with teams like, you know, the Rams, McVay and the Cardinals, like they come in, Rams and the Cardinals with Kingsbury is like they have these innovative coaches that just take them up to this high level, you know, pretty fast because there's so many coaches that are just like, it's just like, what are they doing? You know, you play soft coverage against Jared Goff on the last play of the game. Like, I just don't get it. Anyway, I'm not an NFL coach. So we lost 260 there. That put us back. We were afraid of that. If we had not lost that game, it would have been an awesome week and we'd be doing amazing. But we lost 260 there. And then we had the Giants, Dolphins. Dolphins were -4. We made them +3. And then the Pats were +3, moved them to +10. That was an easy win, 130 to win 100. Should have put more on that one instead of the Vikings. Bucks and the Falcons, we moved the Bucks from -10.5 to -3.5. They won comfortably. And then we had the Chiefs -2.5. They won like 22 to 9 or something like that. Pretty comfortable too. So a lot of these picks were great except the Vikings, you know. So we won 100 on that, 130 to win 100. And then we had a 14 parlay with the Dolphins -4, which covered, Cardinals -7.5, which covered, Broncos Chiefs under 47.5, which covered. So 3 out of 4. And then of course the Vikings -7. So Vikings cost us about 700 bucks, $760 last week. So yeah, at least if they had won, we'd have won the teaser. So good times. I think now you might see this week that I'm like anti-Vikings and anti-Vikings going forward because I am starting off this week weird. And of course, last week overall, we finished -10 or -60, even with that $260 loss. So that was good. And now we're at -105 total. All right. So this week, really need to have a big week. I'm not going all in on one game, but I do want to, you know, throw some money out there and we'll see how we do. I feel pretty confident going into this week. Hopefully that's not a bad sign. Steelers +3.5 on Thursday Night Football. We're going to move them out to +10.5 against the Vikings. I think, as you know, the Vikings can't cover a 7-point spread against the worst team in the NFL. So it can't even beat them. So I think Steelers +10.5. I like that. Then we're going to put the Rams and Cardinals. Cardinals -2.5. We're going to move them out to +4.5. And then risking 130 to win 100 on that teaser. I do think with the Rams Cardinals, even though the Rams got healthy and played well against the Jags, I'm not really sold because, you know, everyone, if they're a good team, like the 49ers beat up on the Jags and they just lost to the Seahawks, which, you know, even as a Seahawks fan, I honestly looked at the Seahawks this week and they're -8 at the Texans. I don't want to bet against the Seahawks, but if I'm like, I don't see them covering an 8-point spread, especially on the road, even if it's the Texans, you know, that's just me. You know, they haven't really shown that they would cover that spread at any point this season. So I'm not going to take that though, but I am going to take the Cardinals +4.5 because I think they still at home, they're playing better than the Rams, I think, and the Rams struggled big time against them last time. I do think they're going to come, and this is like a big all-out game for the Rams, so that kind of worries me slightly. But I mean, 4.5 points at home, I feel comfortable with that. So we'll take that teaser to start. Then we have the Raiders and the Chiefs. Chiefs are -9.5. We're going to move them down to -2.5. They comfortably beat the Raiders last game in Vegas, so -2.5 should be fine. And then the Bucks -3.5 at home against the Bills. I think this is a great game. You know, and the Bucks moving them from -3.5 to +3.5 at home in a game that Tom Brady will want to win more than others, I think, just because it's a bigger game. They're at home. I think the Bucks will roll, win comfortably, and the +3.5 should be fine. So we're 130 to win 100. All right. Then we're going to take a couple overs here with the Rams Cardinals. The last game, I think the Cardinals Rams was, you know, a pretty high scoring game. They couldn't really stop the Cardinals. I think this time both teams will play better on offense. So we're going to move that from over 51.5 to over 44.5. I think the over is going to hit straight up, but the 44.5 helps. And then we're going to take the Bills Bucks over 40 or 53.5 and move that down to 46.5. And that's going to be 130 to win 100. So, and then last games, Lions Broncos, we're fading the Lions again. Hopefully it doesn't bite us. Again, we're going to take the Broncos from -10 to -3. I think the Broncos at home, it's cooler weather, not super cold, but still cold. And then the Lions have some issues this week with some players being out, I think. So I think we're going to take the Broncos to cover and play good defense at home. -10 to -3. And then the Bears Packers -12.5. We're going to move them down to -6.5. I definitely think that our Packers are going to take. So I think the Packers win comfortably. That's how they do against the Bears. The Bears are not even on the same level. Packers are coming off a bye. And then last game, we're going to take the Panthers -2.5 straight up, 130 to 100. And on the other one, Lions, all of these we're doing 130 to 100 this week. I think the Panthers coming off a bye, they usually dominate the Falcons. They're at home. They're coming off a bye. I think this week, traditionally, they score a lot of points against the Falcons. I think they win this one by at least a field goal. All right. So that's all our straight up picks. Then we're taking 2 parlays to close the week out. We're going to do Chiefs -9.5, Packers -12.5, Cardinals -2.5, Panthers -2.5. I don't like having those massive spreads on the parlay, but I do think all these teams can comfortably win. I think the one that I'm least confident in is the Packers, but the Bears are not that good, and Packers are at home coming off a bye. So we'll see if they can cover it. I think that it's going to come down to one score on that. And then that one's 50 to win 500. And then the other one, we're going to take the Cowboys and Washington football team under 48. With this game being in FedEx Field at Washington, I like the under, more of a low scoring running game. I think the Rams Cardinals will go over 51.5. We're going to take that also. Steelers Vikings over 44.5. And then I wasn't sure what else I wanted to do, all over unders. I was kind of feeling either the Browns Ravens under or the Lions Broncos under, but I mean, those teams are so, I can't ever predict those games. Maybe the 49ers Bengals over was the one I should take, but again, both those teams are so unpredictable. I'm just going to go with the Bucks -3.5. Just count on Tom Brady is what we're going to do. So I think that's what I look for in a lot of these, is to just count on or look for the teams that you can count on being consistent. And I think that's what we're going to do here this week. So we'll see how we do. Hopefully we can catch up with the investing account. I would love it if we came out and just had a monster week. We came close last week, so I feel like we can definitely do it this week. So that's all for this week. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and go Steelers. I want to see them play well against Vikings after last week, get that vengeance from that loss. So, all right, see y'all later.